What is going on, everyone, and welcome to week 5 of the Certified Ball Knowers podcast. I'm Steven, joined by my partner in crime, Niner. How we doing today?
Good. How we doing?
We're hanging in there. Me and you both got off flights. I'm playing the first away game in CBK history. I'm coming to you live from a Fairfield Inn in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Where were you coming from? Where were you at?
I got a home game right now, but it's kind of that quick turnaround in the NFL when you play on Sunday, then you got a game on Thursday. I just landed within the last hour from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Ooh.
I was in ACC country. So good to be back in Denver, though. Good to be back in Denver.
That's kind of like going to London on a Sunday and then coming back and playing on Thursday because we're playing the time zone game there. So
I know. Body's a mess. I'm still sick. I was sick last week during our episode. I'm still a little sick now. Just battling, though. That's what ball knowers do. You battle to talk about ball.
What did I tell you last week when you got kids?
I don't remember.
This is the beginning. You're going to be sick. You will not be more sick in your life than you will be in the next 2 years.
This cold I've had has just lingered forever. A week and a half cold. No, I can't remember. I don't think I've ever had a week and a half cold in my life.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
So what's changed in your life? You have a kid. So
it's a child. It's the
there
child.
You go.
Yeah.
When you travel on the road? I'm a road warrior for work. I know you are as well.
Not to your extent, but I travel a little bit.
Dude, I think I'm closing in on 30 round trips, like closing in on 60 flights.
You still got 3 more months in the year.
Yeah, dude. We're grinding out here. Shout out the wife being an absolute just rock for the squad. Let me do this. It's roles and responsibilities, which is what ball's all about too, right? Knowing your role, playing a part in a team. But what's the first thing you do when you get to a hotel? Do you have like a ritual?
Yeah, I turn the AC down as low as possible. I feel like that's the only right answer when you get in there. So I think this is usually my routine. Turn down the AC. If I have a window, I usually open it up to see what the view is. And then I go immediately for the little stand that you can put your suitcase on.
Oh, yeah.
I leverage that pretty heavily. So I do that, unpack all of my dress clothes, hang them in the closet there, try to get settled before I do anything. Before I leave the hotel or anything, I get settled so that when I come back from the work event or the office, I get to go straight to shower, toiletries are all out, and we're right in bed. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned I travel quite a bit, so my routine's pretty dialed in. I wear a suit and tie for work most days, so we get the dress shirts out, we get the suit out. We crank the shower to hot, close the door, steam up the bathroom, get those folded dress shirts and suit that have been in the suitcase. We get those steamed a little bit. That's number one. So similar to getting the stuff unpacked. But before that, crank the AC down. This one, so you know how some of them stop you at like 66 or 65? Dude, this one kept going. I got this bitch turned to 60 right now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Albuquerque plays by a different set of rules.
Yeah. We did not check the view of the window because I just know what it is and it's hot garbage. No offense to our Albuquerque listeners, but you guys know. You guys are aware. But yeah, so I do that. What else? Oh, I'm a big fan of getting a room with 2 queens rather than 1 king.
Yeah, I don't like that move.
Really?
No, I want a king.
Do you think my explanation that I'm about to share would change your mind, or do you think you're set in stone?
I think you put stuff on the second bed.
Yeah.
Pretty predictable there.
It's just a shit pile bed. It's wonderful. Just throw everything in there, throw your dirties, throw it all. So, yeah, your boy, we're recording late tonight on the 25th. It's 10 o'clock Mountain Time. And your boy over here has a presentation he has to give tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in Taos, New Mexico. So I got an early wake up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go talk about the financial markets to a bunch of retirees at a museum in Taos.
That sounds awesome. I got a 8 a.m. With one of our partners that we just signed with, hour-long call. I don't have a big speaking role on it, so it should be okay, but still an 8 a.m. wake-up call. Be on camera.
Yeah.
And ready to rock.
Ready to rock. That's the life of corporate soldiers like your boys here, 7 and 9. We were, soldiers on the battlefield back in high school. Not trying to steal valor here, but you know what I mean. It's an analogy. But now we're just in the workforce, grinding, battling.
But I've had enough about the workforce. Can we talk some ball, Seven? Can we talk some ball?
Is that what we do here?
I think this is a Ball Knowers podcast. Yeah.
It is a Ball Knowers podcast. I mean, there's a lot to talk about from this past week, including Arizona not losing. We'll definitely touch on that, and also kind of our thoughts going into the Utah game. But before we kind of recap the last week's games, there was a lot of good games. We had some hot takes when it comes to our locks of the week that we'll definitely cover. Apologize for it. Free money, not free though, as you know. But I don't think there's a place to start other than quarterback Matt Sluka from UNLV, who it was this morning, right?
This morning, this all came out. Yeah, this morning. Matt Sluka said he's off the team. He's redshirting. He's on a 4-0 team that's had some really nice wins in Big 12 country, right? They beat Kansas. They beat Houston. And they beat somebody else, if I'm not mistaken, as well. They're a fun team. They were my Michael Scott team of the week, I believe, last week. So really a fun team that is taking a huge hit, and it seems to be a little bit of an NIL scandal, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's mixed messages going on out there about kind of what happened. He was promised a certain amount of money, didn't get it. I also read another report that said that he was given what he was told. I mean, the dude came from Holy Cross, right? So let's like level set in terms of like NIL. But this is one of the things we've talked about, and what will continue to be a relevant issue is NIL. There's no contracts. These dudes don't have to play. They can get $100,000 from a booster and leave the next day. Yep. But the one report I read said that he got everything, and after their hot start, after 9 picked him, in as the Larry Scott team of the week. I think ESPN or one of the big J's out there said they had him in as the 12 seed and as the group of 5. Like, they're legit. Yeah, and the quarterback is kind of an important position. So I'm not sure how to really feel about it fully in terms of like not knowing what's going on. But here's what I do know, and if I can share my opinion about it right now. You have to be a fucking psychopath to leave your team after an undefeated start, starting to get national recognition. You're the starting quarterback, and you leave because you're not getting enough money. We've said it before. We'll say it again. Generational money, life-changing money is not NIL. It won't. And there's maybe 5 to 10 guys out there that get life-changing money. Nico on Tennessee got $8 million. Like, that's one guy, right? So you're telling me that the whatever, let's say it's $1 million or $500,000. You're saying $500,000 is worth turning the shoulder on all these guys you've been literally grinding with for the last 6 months in camp, in the summer of Vegas, getting ready for this season that you know is going to be special. You have one of the best OCs in the country. You got a dog at linebacker. It might be because he's a white blonde kid that wears 7 at middle backer. Maybe he's calling to, everything I do in NCAA football. No bias. Dude, I thought he was short, by the way. I looked him up. He's 6'3". That it just kills me. I thought he was 5'11". I thought he was holding it down for the boys, but no, never mind. I just don't understand. Like, he's got a lot of life ahead of him. The brotherhood of a really successful football team is special, and it's a shame that his agent, whoever got in his ear, didn't say that. Like, it'll all work out, and that's like, as much as Arizona, like, it hurts, like, Noah Fafita is still positive. He's like, God's got a plan and it's already written. Like, all right, believe. I love it. Like, believe. Like, this kid is on a team that has legit chance to do something special, and he just
Can I disagree with you?
sure. I would love to. You've never
So
done
I'm
that before.
disagreeing with you, not just for content. I actually believe this. If you take a step back and you look at the state of college football, how can you blame the kid for doing what he did? How can you blame him?
Expand.
There's no loyalty anymore. So how can you say he should be loyal to his brothers that he's played with for 6 months? All those guys just, half those guys showed up within the last 6 months. Let me go.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, sorry.
Jeez. Let's say that he did get the 100,000. Okay, 100,000. This kid is never going to play in the NFL. He's just not. He's not an NFL guy. He's good. So what is he doing? He is leveraging the system that is the absolute wild, wild west to squeeze the most amount of money that he can in his college football days. Comes from Holy Cross, goes to UNLV, makes 100K. Keeps his red shirt, gets his 100K, keeps his red shirt, and then who's going to go get him? He's going to go play at UCLA. He's going to go play at Oregon. He's going to go play somewhere else. He's going to make $500,000. He's going to go make $1 million. He is absolutely squeezing the college football landscape for what it is worth today for his own benefit. He's not going to get life-changing money, that's right. But you walk out of college with no debt, couple bull rings under your belt, and a household name and $1 million. That's a pretty good start to your life. So I don't blame the kid at all.
So you don't think there's anything character-wise that if you're another
I don't think character matters anymore. Character, loyalty, like what we see at Arizona is super special. And it's one of the reasons we're so mad about how it's going down right now is that these kids are not getting coached up, schemed up. And it's a shame, but that's to the side. They're an anomaly. Like if a kid has an opportunity to go double, triple, quadruple his money in a 5-year span by moving up the ranks of college football, I don't blame him for doing it because the adults in the room who have let this happen are the ones now complaining, but they're the ones that let it happen. He should have not been able to transfer or redshirt after playing. Like the whole 4-game thing is crazy to me. I know it's kind of widely accepted. It's crazy. There's no contracts. You made that point earlier. So why not just take the 100K from some big booster in Vegas and then just move on? Go to UCLA. Go to Utah. It doesn't matter. So I don't blame him.
Yeah, I disagree. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe they don't make them like me anymore. I don't know. I just think it's chicken shit. I don't. In the middle of the season, like you're going to a group of 5 school. You know the limitations of their collective of what they have.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're signing up for. And after 4 games, you're finally getting national recognition. You have had some epic games already. You got a schedule that's set up to run the table and play some pretty solid Mountain West teams and prove yourself. And that doesn't matter to you?
I'm not even
like he knew what he signed up for.
But I said earlier,
I don't get
character doesn't matter. He knew what he signed up for coming from Holy Cross. I'm going to go play at UNLV in the go-go offense. I'm going to go prove myself in 4 games, make 100K in 4 games. And then I'm going to go make 750K and go sign with Kansas State or Oregon or whatever. Like his character and loyalty do not matter because the adults in the room have royally screwed it up. Does it say something about his character? It absolutely does. I'm not disagreeing with that. Would I do this? No, I don't think I would. But do I blame a kid for playing a system and playing a game that has no rules and no laws, no contracts? No, I don't blame him. So,
and at the same point, if he has an agent, why isn't the agent go get him deals with State Farm or whatever? Like if he's that big of a name, go get him money elsewhere. It's not like you're only reliant on the collective.
That's fair. And I'm not even I've seen some stuff where like there was maybe threats made by the agent or something. Like I'm not condemning, like I condemn that. Sure. That's terrible, whatever. Yeah. But to your point, like the agent is choosing to go the path of these collectives and these boosters and not do it the right way. The right way, the whole intent of NIL was get brand deals, show up in the automotive sale, ads in Tucson, in Vegas, whatever. That's not a thing for the majority of people. Like people, like it's not social media, it's not YouTube. It's just how much can you boosters can cash
write
a
the
check.
Yeah.
That's it.
No.
That's the game. So if the guy's going to play the game to go squeeze as much money as he can before he gets to go start slinging insurance back home where the hell he's from, I don't blame him.
Well, one thing that kind of stuck out to me, the middle backer that I have a crush on, Jackson something. What's his name? Jackson Woodard. Barstool UNLV. Did you see this tweet?
No.
Barstool UNLV tweeted our QB1, and it's the backup, and it's this dude who also transferred in. And Jackson Woodard is probably like might win the Buckus. Like he might be the best middle backer in America and probably their team leader. He quote retweeted and said about time. So
maybe the boys are going to be rallying around this kid, and those guys are going to be in the college football playoff already.
Yeah. So are we saying we absolutely love UNLV at home against Fresno?
Oh, yeah. I think they're going to be playing with some fire. I'm rooting for UNLV. I was already rooting for UNLV a little bit this year. They're at the top of my list of a team I want to see make the playoff and do a lot of good things. I'm not – this Sluka guy, I'm not rooting for him. I just don't blame him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have a lot of other stuff to talk about. That was obviously a big news story today on the West Coast of college football that as a West Coast college football podcast we had to address. We're on opposite sides of the argument here. I think this is something to keep an eye out for, and not only at UNLV but where else throughout the country where we might see this, right? So
yeah.
What'd you like most though? Let's transition a little bit from this past weekend. What'd you see? What'd you like? What do you want to talk about?
What I liked, number one, was Arizona didn't have a game, so they couldn't lose and embarrass ourselves. So that was awesome. Made things really really nice. I had a really rough gambling weekend. A lot of my free money plays of the week didn't hit, so that hurt the soul a little bit. USC I thought was going to be able to put up a fight against Michigan. They look soft.
Are you gonna?
You said that? No, you said that.
Okay.
I was wrong. I was wrong.
I was
wrong. You want me to say that, Seven? Seven, you are always right. You're never wrong. Congratulations on a successful pick. Yeah,
I thought that felt good. Thank you.
I thought that Tennessee-Oklahoma game went exactly how we thought it would go. Oklahoma is not very good. I think Tennessee I think Oklahoma's defense is okay. Venables still has pretty good defense, but that was just never a game. Like even though it was kind of close, it was just never a game.
They have a new QB and it ain't Jackson Arnold.
No, that game is different if that kid plays the whole game. He's good.
He's tough, dude.
Yeah.
Herb Street even said it in the fourth quarter. He goes, they're not going to win this game, but we know who Oklahoma's quarterback is. And that's crazy because Arnold was like a very sought after kid.
I believe he was the highest rated QB recruit Oklahoma's ever had. And that's a school with what, 2 or 3 Heismans in the last 10 years?
At quarterback.
Yeah.
But got to love it for what's his name? Tennessee's coach to go back.
Well, and it also just highlights how poorly these guys who are evaluating talent can be. Like, golly, I'm dying over here, guys. I'm dying. Slow death. But yeah, you got guys in their basement who literally never strapped up, like in high school or anything, being like, "Yeah, I watch ball all weekend, all day." It's like, okay, the guy looks great in pads. Like, awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So
we'll get looking good in pads when we talk about USC on my on our Choose Your Scott.
That's called a teaser.
A little foreshadowing, as the English teachers used to say, right?
That's right. What game stuck out to you this past weekend? What do you like?
I mean, Tennessee, like I hammered that. That was like the lock of all locks. I talked about it last week. They really tried not covering at the end. That was a little bit stressful. The thing that stuck out to me, and it's a little depressing, even though Arizona didn't lose, which is that's a win. San Jose State is better now that Brennan isn't there, and we could have also had that coach if we didn't listen to a 20-year-old kid who's doing commercials now, and play by play, or no, he's doing like reality.
All-American.
Yeah, he's in the All-American show.
He's like an extra on TV shows as a football player. So
he decided the future of our program. Like Brent, we thought. I mean, Brent's just completely let us down. Jed was awesome. I don't think we have the years with Ken Morimoto, whatever, the Navy coach that went to San Jose is there now. We were supposed to hire him, just as a reminder, in 2021. Is that when Jed got hired? 2021?
Yeah.
I feel like he would added some consistency. Like, do we win 10 games last year? Do we get all those guys in the port?
No, we don't.
Probably not, but like it's better this year than it looks now, and we have a program being built. That's the problem, is it seems like we're just back to the Sumlin era of Arizona. And
it feels like the Sumlin era. And speaking of, what do you think so this past weekend, Kansas State got rocked, so you're kind of like, Arizona's really bad. And then San Jose State looked really good. So it's all bad. And then we watched a Utah team go beat Oklahoma State in Utah fashion without Cam Rising, and it was just you can't do anything on offense because their defense is so good, and we're just going to run the ball all day. So it was kind of a depressing weekend for Arizona, even though they did have a bye. That's right.
Yeah. Last week, if you do remember, I also said BYU +6 because I didn't think Kansas State was very good. Was also right on that, not to pat my own back. But
yeah, you're just always right.
I mean, we're not going to talk about the 3 games I lost either. We're just going to focus on the games I won because that's what I'm a sales guy. That's what we do. Yep. No, but Kansas State's trash. They're just not good, which is very depressing for us. Utah is elite. It also is it brings me back to the transfer portal, and Chase Kennedy, our starting D end. He's not very good. And then you watch, they maybe have 2 of the top 5 DNs in the country.
But he has so many QB pressures.
Dude, that's the craziest fucking stat of all time.
For those listening that don't know, Arizona social media has been hyping up our 2 defensive end who are both in the top 10 in QB pressures, but nowhere near the top 10 in QB sacks, which tells you a lot of what they're doing. They're just taking inside rush lanes to get into the QB's face, as we've played all running quarterbacks, and all those running quarterbacks have just said, "Oh, you're not going to set the edge. We'll just go run for 15 yards," and that's happened over and over and over again. That could be an interesting thing to watch this weekend, though, because Utah, with the Zach Wilson's brother, the MILF Hunter 2.0, I like to call him, he's fast, but he's not looking to run like the other guys we faced is looking to run. So maybe this works for us. Maybe we just can't win against rushing quarterbacks. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Matchups are weird. If you get into college football like we do and you watch it for years and years, like there's certain teams that you just play well even when you're not good. Utah is a team historically that we always seem to battle with, regardless of how we are.
It's true.
So I still don't have any hope. We'll see what the bye week is. I still stand by what I said last week in terms of what it would take to fix this. Is you need a new play caller.
Yep.
And I was talking to 2-1 this week, and I always think back to like our junior year of high school when we had just a really shitty defensive scheme and coordinator.
Yep.
I have no problem saying that out loud. Everyone was thinking too much and no one just played.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like on both sides of the ball.
Both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. Everyone seems like they're thinking too much. Like last year was fluid. Everyone knew what they were doing. There was a connectivity and like a flow to the offense and defense.
And they played. They just went out and played ball. It didn't matter who they played against. I think last year, early in the season, that Mississippi State game, that was a really bad Mississippi State team, but it was kind of SEC country, late night game, whatever. It gave us some confidence to be like, oh yeah, we can hang. And then you saw it the rest of the year, whether it was Washington or USC. Those are really bad or really close losses. Would have loved to play Washington again in the Pac-12 title game. I still could, I think that could have turned out quite interesting. But then, we should have never lost the USC game if our head coach had known the overtime rules. So, a lot there to unpack. But as we look towards the game this weekend against Utah at Utah, I don't think it's close. As to your point, though, we always do seem to play Utah well, but As Dwayne Aquino, our defense coordinator, has said all offseason, and apparently it's his motto, show me, don't tell me. So there's no reason for me to believe the words that have been coming out of their mouth, the bye week, all this stuff, show me. I don't think this game's going to be close. Prove me that I'm wrong. Prove to me that you'll compete. I'm not even looking for a win at this point, but keep it a single point game, single digit game. Play some good defense, play some good offense, get some guys the ball in space, and let's see what happens. But I don't think it's gonna be close.
Yeah, we should have a show me, don't tell me segment. I think you're 3 weeks in a row mentioning that phrase, and I respect it because they have not showed us shit, and that's the whole problem and why we're negative. And if you're looking for the positive Arizona spin and you want to hear us tell you that Arizona is going to win 8 games this year, don't listen to us. You can go listen to Jason Shear.
Listen to every other podcaster, media person at Arizona. You can,
I don't think Utah has to throw the ball one time and they'll beat us by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't think so. And one thing I'm looking for, Jacob Manu has played absolutely awful all year. Maybe he's thinking too much. Danny Gonzalez is a terrible coach. We've covered that. So maybe he's just put him in terrible positions. But Manu hasn't played with an edge. He looks slow. Like, I don't think that we stop them. How many times does Utah punt on Saturday? Over under 2.5.
Yo, speaking of punters, did you see that Tennessee punter kicks with both feet?
No, I didn't see that. That's cool. Answer the question. How many times does Utah punt on Saturday? Over under 2.5.
They'll do 2 times in the. I'm going to take the over. They're going to do 2 times in the first half because it's Utah. They'll start slow. They'll do some 3rd and 8. They'll just run a dive because that's what Utah does. We'll get a lucky one and we'll cover that 2.5.
Okay, I'm going to take the under just for fun.
I like that. We're disagreeing again. This is the disagree episode, which
we fought before this because you're a pussy, but that was just off camera. So, but yeah, happy to disagree with you all day long.
Yeah, we should record one of our fights. I think, a lot of our listeners that have been in the Snyder household in life over the years would get quite a kick because
we have some loyal listeners. We have some loyal listeners that haven't seen that. I got a coworker, Mike Malyar. Shout out Mike. He's been calling our dad 2-1 exclusively. He's like, "How's 2-1 doing?" And he's listening. He's got his wife listening. She hated your sunglasses last week, which I agreed with.
Why? What's
you're trying too hard.
Wow.
It's PFT's move. Come on. They're big J's.
All right. I'm sorry. What's her name? Can I shout her out?
I should know her name off the top.
You don't know your buddy's name. Well, egg on your face. I'm
sorry, Miss Malyar. I'm sorry. It's late.
It is late. Well, with that in mind, what else are you looking at this weekend? What games? I mean, it's pretty stacked lineup here. Games.
The obvious one is what? Georgia Bama. That's this week, right?
Yep.
That'll be fun.
Bama.
That'll be fun. We'll see how good Alabama is. I think we all know how good Georgia is.
Dude, figure it out.
Yeah, I'm dying. I got to get to bed, but that'll be a fun one. And then I am still looking forward to Arizona, Utah. We'll see what we're made of there. And then I think we're gonna learn a little bit about BYU. I think they're good. They're now ranked in top 25. And I don't think Baylor's very good, but on the road, Big 12 game, it's a 10 a.m. kick, Mountain Time. So we'll just learn a lot about BYU. Like, it would be the most Pac-12, now Big 12 thing ever for them to go lose to Baylor. Let's just be honest with ourselves, right? Like, that's why I bring that one up. Yeah. It's just, if it happens, no one be surprised. So.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about this, and maybe we'll let Cole hop in for a sec here. And while Baylor got brought up, Cole, how are we feeling about your Buffs in that game against Baylor last Saturday night? That was electric.
It was a fun watch. I like you said last week, it was really a test of, who's going to be mid and who's going to suck.
I think they both might suck. By the way,
I actually agree as well. Yeah, because it went to overtime. But I don't know what it is about those Buffs, man. But we always just play in these really exciting close games with bad teams. So
Dion knows how to bring a show. Like
for sure, 100%.
even if they suck, he knows how to bring a show.
And people will shit on our program or whatever for like 4-8 last year. We're probably gonna go 4-8 this year, whatever. We went 1-11 2 years ago, so I will take this. Okay, sue me. All right, but
you should.
Yeah,
you
and last thing, Travis Hunter for Heisman, because I know our team sucks, but that man is the best player.
So I don't disagree, but I don't disagree with the Travis Hunter that he should get invited. I don't think he'll win it.
I don't either.
But when was the last time a player won the Heisman on like a bad team or a mid team?
I mean, you could argue last year, Jaden Daniels, they went 9-3.
I agree. Yeah. You could argue that. But I'm talking like 6 wins. Because that's the ceiling for Colorado at this point, is a bowl game.
Right. Yeah, dude.
Worst Heisman. Do you ever struggle to spell Heisman? Every time, by the way.
E&I is tough.
Dude, English was not my forte. Winner on the worst team. All right, here's a top 10 list. RG3 won it, and they finished top 15. Lamar Jackson, top 20. Andre Ware, they were 9-2. Jim Pluckett, 9-3. Let's go to number 1.
This would be the first time. Anybody won the Heisman with a 6-win season.
Yeah.
So Paul Hornung in the illustrious 1956 Notre Dame season won the Heisman, and they went 2-8.
Okay, so he's competing with a 1958 Notre Dame quarterback.
Awesome. That's when only us West Coast guys were allowing black guys to play. So yeah.
Shout out us.
And Michigan State. If you look at Michigan State, they have like 5 natties in the 60s. And I got a good coworker as well, Chris. Shout out Chris. He's like, yeah, we let black people play, and we won 5 natties in like the 50s and 60s, and then they haven't had one since. Honestly, and this is a rant maybe for a different time. That is my reason for why stats before like 1970 shouldn't count. Like UCLA's 10 basketball titles shouldn't count.
Yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar escaped one of the most racist places of all time to go to LA. He was in Philly or New York or something. He's like, I'm not staying there. This is crazy. He goes to LA and then wins it. Like that doesn't, like, he's not going to UCLA in a non-racist society. Okay.
Yeah. It's like right now with baseball, they're being like, who's better, Shohei Ohtani or Babe Ruth? Be like,
Babe Ruth drank 8 beers a game and was hitting off of guys throwing 80 miles per hour who just got off their shift on the rail yard.
We're in a completely different time.
Yeah, we're in a different era here. Yeah.
Why are we comparing this?
We're ripping darts like Jim Leland in the dugout, but Jim was just coaching instead of actually running out there to play.
Yeah.
Shout out Jim Leland, just
legend.
Secretly ripping darts as a manager of the Tigers. Like, that doesn't get talked about enough. That is just cool. And hey, while we're on the baseball talk, our pods, we're Padres guys, San Diego guys. I don't know if you guys saw, we clinched a playoff berth last night on a triple play. I don't know about you guys, but like triple plays, it was also 4th on ESPN's top plays of the day, which is
crazy.
Horseshit. Dude, triple plays happen like 5 times a year. Maybe less. And we clinched it. And Shohei was on deck. Like, we didn't, like, Shohei, the best player.
That moment was huge.
It was huge. Shout out the boys. Let's go, Pods.
Can I share a stat real quick about that?
Absolutely.
So number of occurrences in MLB history for these like plays or whatever. There have been 700 plus triple plays in MLB history. There have been 300 plus no hitters, 300 plus sets of back-to-back, two-back home runs, and 100 plus comebacks from 8 plus runs. One team has done all 4 in the same season. It is the 2024 San Diego Padres. So,
Tip of the cap.
LFGSD.
What a
Down
stat.
Seidler.
That hey, do it for Pete, man. It feels special. I mean, one game at a time, but it's been a special season, man. It's been fun to watch these guys. And hey, that kind of goes into what we've been talking about, that apparently coaching matters with Arizona Wildcats and also the San Diego Padres, because I'm calling him Big Dick Schilt. That's what I've been calling him, because that dude's got some balls. And those boys come out and ball for him. Bob Melvin, like, go. Yeah, garbage. Yeah. So it's good to have a manager who gives a shit, and the boys
knows what he's doing.
Well, that's another thing. So it's going to be a fun October. It's going to be a fun playoff run. We're in a grinder right now with the Dodgers, but let's go win the West. Fuck the wild card.
The only thing I'll say about the game going on right now, we're down a run in the 7th. Morihone led up our lead. That guy cannot pitch in the playoffs, or we are going to do really bad. I don't know why they keep throwing him out there. Morihone is like such a weak link. I know Suarez, we have our concerns in the closing spot as well, but Morihone drives me nuts. He gives up a run every time he pitches.
Throwing him out there too, like in pretty big spots. Yeah.
How many times have I texted the group chat, 7, in the last month? Like, why is Morihone pitching? Why is Morihone pitching? Usually
leads to, if it's not a run, it's just chaos. It's
stressful.
It's so stressful every time he's on the mound. So I'm with you. They've been trying the Morihone experience on the pods for years now.
Every manager.
It kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Sean Miller. It's like, oh, let's just expect it to change.
It's like the dude's got a great fastball. He's a lefty. He's got movement. He's young. It's like, okay, like I get all that on paper, but at some point it just doesn't work.
Yeah. But we'll see. Playoffs are different. Managed styles are different. You got a couple more bodies in bullpen. I don't know. It's going to be good. We got good starting pitching. We got dogs in the lineup. Jake Cronenworth is our 7 hitter.
Yeah, that's elite.
Could be worse.
Could be worse. Elite.
Could be worse.
All right, let's get back to ball. You got any free money plays of the week, 7 over there?
Free money. Always free money. And just to let folks know, I said Tennessee bet cashed. It's not free. BYU cashed. I told you to bet Michigan, and I listened to Tyler, and I ended up betting USC, but you should have just listened to me on the pod because I was right about that. I was wrong about Nebraska. Nebraska, we could also have a segment on, like,
broad.
The more things change, the more they stay the same, because that was crazy. And that's also part of the reason why I think CU is also bad too. They just got the shit rocked, but Illinois is tough. Before I have 3 locks of the week. There are 3 other games though that I think have wild spreads that you should keep an eye out for. Texas 38.5 against a horrible Mississippi State team. That's just a shitload of points in conference in the SEC. That's one I have on my radar. Not to say that Mississippi State covers that. I'm not saying to take that. That's just a wild spread.
You mean the team that lost at Toledo, right?
I agree. I'm just saying that's a lot of points, dude. That's a lot of
Don't overthink it.
You're right.
This is the Ole Miss conversation we had. Don't overthink it.
Oh, Texas. And Ole Miss. I hit Ole Miss because they kicked the shit out of bad teams. You're right. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to take that off. Let's ride Texas minus 38.5. That's my 4th pick. Penn State favored by 19 at home against Illinois. There's an argument to be made that Illinois is maybe a little bit of, fatigue going into Happy Valley, but is it Happy Valley? Or is that, I don't know.
I don't care about the East Coast. Yeah, they butcher our stuff all day. Sure. Happy Valley. Yeah, I think it's right.
Them. They touch kids. 19 against against the 19th ranked team in the country who just beat Nebraska on the road. Talk about a brutal back-to-back for Illinois, though, but 19 seems like a lot. James Franklin does cover, though, when he wins, so I'm leaning towards Penn State. But
he didn't cover against Bowling Green.
Uh-oh. UCF minus 14.5 at home against CU. I know UCF looks solid. I just don't know. That just seems like a lot of points. Maybe I'm overthinking that too. But Enough of that. Those are just 3 I have on my radar. The 3 that I love: Rutgers -2 at home against UW. Love it. Love it. That's the first game. Dude, that's a 6-hour flight. Like, this is what we've been talking about. I want to see how they do. UW hasn't looked good. Rutgers has looked solid. So I like that. The second one I have, Arkansas is getting 4, I believe, against A&M. I like the money line. This just seems like a game that A&M loves to lose. We all know A&M is going to finish the season 8-4, 9-3, ranked from 23rd to 25th, and they're going to have some weird losses. Arkansas is kind of gritty. They like playing for Pittman, so I like money line.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like Arkansas money line. And then my last one, probably pretty easy. I would take this at -20, but it's currently at -11. It opened at -9. Utah -11 against Arizona is the easiest bet of the week, and it's not even close. And
I like all those picks.
Yeah,
I like all those picks, and we this is just twinning right here because I have 2 of those same 3 picks. I love Rutgers -2.5 against UW. Same reasoning. UW's like whatever. It's Big Ten football in New Jersey. 6-hour flight to your point. Yeah, you watch USC going to Michigan and struggled. They looked lethargic. Then they kind of woke up and made it a game. I think Rutgers takes care of business. I think Utah -11 is a really, really good bet as well. I don't think I'm as bullish as you are on it, just because of how U of A does play Utah well, and Utah still does have their backup quarterback. Like, we're not winning this game, but do they cover? Like, they could, but I'm still going to take Utah -11. Why, Jason? Why am I taking that? Show me, don't tell me. You haven't shown me anything this whole year, so why would I bet on Arizona?
Yeah.
And then the last one that is a little different than you, staying out west in the Big 12. I like Iowa State -14 at Houston. This is our simple brains again. Houston is hot garbage, trash. They suck. Iowa State, to your point earlier, is a fun team. I think they take care of business. I think they win by 20 plus. So I like Iowa State -14 at Houston. It's a lot of points for a conference game. Don't overthink it. Hammer Iowa State, and let's go from there.
I like it. Cole, 2 things for you. Do you have a pick that you like that you want to pop in?
Put them on blast.
I'm putting them on blast.
I'm not prepared.
And then also, I know I put you on the spot here, brother.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I was looking at a couple of them earlier. I was looking at Louisville Notre Dame. My best friend is a Louisville fan. I love how
shout out
they
Zach.
are. Yeah, shout out Zach Winchell. What's their head coach's name? Jeff Brom, gritty guy. I don't know if you guys know, but he was, that clip back in the day of the XFL.
Oh yeah.
The guy was like, "Do I or do I not have a pulse?" And he's like, "Let's go play football." That's Louisville's head coach. So
yeah.
Well, to your point, I like that. It's at Notre Dame, but it's still 6.5 points. Like, Notre Dame hasn't looked too good.
Thanks for that, Cole. And
yes, sir.
Go ahead, 9.
Well, I was going to transition to choose your Scott.
Choose your Scott. So this is our choose your Scott's plays of the week for this week. Do you have last week's pulled up just so we can remind our listeners who we had? Ooh, look at that max skills.
This was last week. So last week, this is where we were at. I was Arizona, Iowa State, fun. Texas, still a wagon. I still stand by all these. Jason, I think your analysis was a little off. Colorado looked a little bit more fun this past weekend, and then USC didn't look as fun.
Agreed. Yeah, no, I was going to talk about that. I think Colorado looked more fun because they were playing probably one of the worst teams in the Power 4 conferences. Baylor's horrible, for the record, and they should have lost. So yeah, I was almost very right. and they did drop the first Hail Mary. So let's not forget about that. USC looked fun in the second half, but they still had, like, they blew it in the first half. They had opportunities in the second half to put that game away. Like
with 2.5 minutes left in the game, Michigan decided we're just going to keep running the ball, and it worked. Like, that should never happen. That should just never happen. It was embarrassing. It was a real shot at the West Coast. Like, I was getting so many texts of like USC still soft, whatever. It's like, yeah, like, this is the problem with the West Coast. They aren't able to buckle the chin strap a little bit tighter and be like, throw it. We dare you.
Well, and that goes into my my picks for this week. That's why I have USC as the Larry Scott team of the week. As a reminder, Larry Scott killed a conference. They're dead. I think USC is dead because the more things change, the more they stay the same. They are not ready to compete with the big boys. I don't give a shit about what conference they're in. It's the same song and dance. They just got outmanned against a pretty average Michigan team. And then when, it was too late, and to your point, probably the first 4-minute drill in history that only consisted of run plays.
That's crazy. I've never seen it.
So
I've seen it in high school, but that's with wing T teams. Like,
yeah,
this was nuts. No, I like that. My team dead is Kansas. It's one we've talked on this pod before. A Big 12 team with a lot of hype coming into the season, and they just look terrible. They continue to lose. They don't look they look disjointed. They remind me a lot of Arizona. And yes, I'm dying. I apologize. But they remind me a lot of Arizona. A lot of guys came back, a lot of hype. Lee Point, like, don't forget, Kansas's coach had an opportunity to go double his salary as well at UW. He said no. So props to him, tip of the cap there. But I wonder if there's a little regret because that team does not look very good. So I think they are dead.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very dead. It's kind of sad. They were a dark horse. Them and Arizona were like two of the sleepers everyone was kind of talking about for the Big 12, and that has been completely killed early. So we could probably have Arizona there as our Larry Scott team of the week every week until they make changes. But until then, my fun team, my Michael Scott team is BYU. I don't know what it is about that place at night. Shout out the LDS brethren out there and sisters. Sorry, don't want to leave you out. That place absolutely rocks at night, and with no booze, which is also like that doesn't get talked about enough. How loud that place goes with not a sip of alcohol being consumed in that stadium. That stadium has moved up. That might be number one on my Big 12 list to go watch a game at BYU because that place looks fun. And they're good, man. I mean, that punt return was electric. They got a Jewish quarterback at a Mormon school, also rocks. Like they got good coaching staff, well coached. They're fun, man. I don't think they're going to win the Big 12 or do anything too crazy, but I think they could cause some problems.
Yeah,
and they're going to win every game.
And I went a little bit of a different route with the team is fun. Colorado is fun. Like, you cannot say they are not fun. They aren't good. We talked about it. 6 is their ceiling. I'm repping right now. Shout out to my wife who went to see you. Got me this sweater. But man, they're fun. They're must watch TV. Like, to your point, Baylor might suck, but they're fun to watch. Like, I always have to watch them. Travis Hunter is a beast. He's electric to watch. Shador. Here's my problem with Shador real quick. He's fun. I think he'll be a good pro. He needs to get the ball out faster. You can't keep blaming that offensive line when you hold the ball for 8 seconds. It's crazy. Agree. The offensive line they're not great, but they get all the blame. And that offensive line is doing its best, but like Shador is holding the ball forever. Week in and week out. It doesn't matter who they play.
So BYU, Kansas State, and Colorado Baylor are on the same time. You only have one TV. Which game are you watching?
I'm watching Colorado.
No way.
That's what I did.
I was watching BYU. dude, there was, in my opinion, and this is why I disagree with this, like, go watch Colorado play Nebraska. There was nothing fun about watching Colorado play Nebraska. And Nebraska just kind of manhandled. Like, they took to like the woodshed a little bit by Illinois, just how physical them. And they murdered Colorado. Like, that game, there was nothing fun about that game. So that's why I don't think Colorado's very fun. I think they're vanilla. I think their defense sucks ass. I think their offensive scheme is also a reason why Shadir doesn't throw it. I don't think they do anything fun. They all, coming into the year said like, oh, new defense, new offensive coordinator. It looks the same as last year. Like, I still think their ceiling is 4 or 5 wins.
I didn't disagree with that. I just like watching them play. It's like watching a reality TV show, but in a football game. And they end up winning these games in crazy fashion. Like when they do win, like last year's Colorado State game was so fun. This Baylor game had a similar vibe. Like the Boulder fans are really good too. Like they sell out. They know that they're not that good, but they still sell out. Like Dion has created a culture there that is like drama all the time, and I can't keep my eyes away.
No, I get that. And shout out our boys that were at the game. We got some videos from some of the fellas that were there.
Yep.
That is one of my favorite places to watch a game.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's a great place.
They know their ball. It's an epic stadium. They care about it. There's history there. So I'm with you on that front. I would go to a CU game every year if I could for the rest of my life, because Boulder rocks. The fans know ball, which is just fun. They care. So I'm with you. Well, our last two are Travis Scott teams of the week, and then we can wrap up and say adios for the night. I have Iowa State. This is not a national championship contender play with for the power team, but I do think they could win the Big 12. I think it's going to be Utah, Iowa State when all said and done.
I like it
because Iowa State is getting better. I love what the program they're building. Talk about a program. That is a program. If you've ever been to Iowa State's campus, it's I'd imagine it's pretty hard to recruit guys there, to be honest. I've been there, but they care. They got ball in their DNA, and they play free and fast, and they seem to be getting better every week. So I'm a big fan of Iowa State, making some waves and potentially getting into the new college football playoff.
Yep. And then I went actually back-to-back, same Travis Scott of the week, Tennessee. I love Nico a ton. They were my SEC champ 2 weeks ago. I had Tennessee. Cole?
I think it was 2 weeks ago, but you also picked them in the first episode as the SEC champ.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks. Sorry, 2 weeks ago I had Tennessee. Sorry, 2 weeks ago I had Tennessee, but I'm consistent. They're a fun team. Like they're really well coached. Their offense is electric. I think Oklahoma has a pretty good defense. They still kind of handled them, like I said earlier. It was never close. This team is really good. They're gonna make the CFP, no doubt. Whether they win the SEC, we'll see. But man, fun team. I called my shot at the beginning of the year. I'm liking it more and more every week.
Yeah, I would feel very good about that one. They are a wagon, and then during the game I was pulling up their roster, looking at it, I was like, damn, that DB, that number 3 kid, I'm blanking on his name. Do you know where he was at last year?
Cal,
Oregon State.
There you go.
Like they have crushed the transfer portal in a very good way. That their defense is elite. Nico is freaking calm under pressure. And they did try and scare me a little bit just with they didn't seem to want to try and score more with a 7.5 point spread. But the hammer of the week did hit. So that was good for all of us. But it's a good slate of ball. We didn't talk Georgia, Alabama because, as much
everyone
as
else could be talking that. Go listen to some other podcast.
Yeah. And we've already acknowledged our love for our cousins. So with that, Cole, our producer, thank you for all that you do. 9, always a pleasure. And our fellow CBKs.
Sounds right.
Peace.
Tear down.